Hola, and ahora es tiempo para mirar retro podcast. con mi con mi hora es yo, Lizzie, la esposa de Sonic the Hedgehog, and con mi tengo mis amigos. Go introduce yourselves.
I'm Jeremy, the Red Beater Gamer.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Christophe et c'est vie Retro Reload.
I'm Tyler. I don't know what the hell's going on. But...
I speak American.
And I'm Kyle.
Oh, Kyle, can you do Chinese for us? Or Mandarin?
I could probably do a little bit. So, Wan Ying.
That's too late.
Kyle. And welcome to Retro Reload. That was English.
I was gonna say, wow, welcome to Retro Reload is the same in Chinese as it is in English.
Oh, it's a direct translation, actually.
Wow, that's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Could have said konnichiwa.
What's our show about today?
Our show, we're gonna go over some pickups, and then we've got a ton of news items that we gotta cover. So, does anybody like to go first with the pickups?
Yes, I will. Because it's so dang hot here in Texas, and I have no clothes on. So.
Oh my.
Okay, so first two pickups, I went to Walmart with my daddy, and I picked up these little cuties that are Nintendo World. I got the Ghost, Boo, and I got a Pixel edition of Link.
I want that.
They're adorable. You can find these at Walmart, but they're always changing them. They make about like 8 of them, but they're always changing them. Like I know they have a Metroid, the actual little brain thing is actually available now at Walmart. That and they have like Splatoon now and other cute little things. Another awesome pickup. My 1-up box came in today.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Very nice.
Yes, and inside it, the theme last month was Team, and they had a cute Tails plushie inside of there from Sonic Boom. This is an extra, so I already have him, but they sent me another one. Yay! They sent me a very cutesy Ninja Turtle stickers with pizza, so this is really adorable. They sent me, I don't know what this exactly is, but it's from, what's that show called on Cartoon Network?
Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Is that Adventure Time?
Yeah.
Oh, sure is.
Yeah, this is actually somebody's drawing, so it's Adventure Time. So that was really cool. I also got,
Was that a pregnancy test?
no.
It's one of those bracelet things you snap on your arm.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a snap bracelet. Okay, there you go.
And it's got like Wolverine, like some of the X-Men characters on it. So that's really cute. Or yeah, it's like a slap bracelet.
Okay. For a second there, I thought the show was getting incredibly interesting.
Yeah, but who did that? What, Sonic?
like it's a question.
The other thing they sent me is a really cool t-shirt, and I really find this just super awesome. If you notice, there's a few little things they have to change because, well, for licensing reasons, like you can tell that's Sonic, but but the one thing they don't do to Sonic is you don't see his pupils. So it looks like like someone yanked out his eyes. So, and that's the Flash, and I have no idea who that bottom character is. I assume
that's from that space movie.
Oh yeah, that little annoying raccoon from what's it called?
I don't know what it's called.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's the Flash. So apparently these are all team-up characters, and that's what 1-up box sent me this month. I'm actually skipping next month because it's like action. The only character that interested me in that box is Aang, Avatar: Last Airbender, but everything else that's on there doesn't interest me. So I'm skipping next month, but then I will see what they're gonna have the following month. So that's what I got.
Nice.
Can I go next? I got nothing once again. Keeping it to my record.
Another Congress-approved choice there, Jeremy.
Thank you. Did my best.
Keep it politically correct on the Retro Reload.
Exactly.
So, Tyler, my friend, did you pick up anything?
I actually only bought. I did sort of. I bought the guide for Breath of the Wild because I am lost. So yeah.
Google is your friend.
Yeah, I could see you getting lost in that game because I did play a bit of Breath of the Wild. I think I played about maybe 45 minutes of it. And it is wide open, which on the one hand is really cool, and on the other hand, like, I wouldn't have minded a couple of hints now and then about what the hell it is I'm actually supposed to be doing, where it is I'm actually supposed to be going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should maybe like rephrase. I'm not like lost, like I don't know where I'm supposed to go. There's a few things I'm just like, how do I do this? You know, so I bought it because I'm playing it and my old solder's playing it as well. We have different save files going, so we're both kind of like working off each other, you know. So yeah, so it's for both of us.
Adam said that's Rocket Raccoon on Lizzie's t-shirt.
Sweet. Good.
Nice.
Good, because I just found the paper that has this stuff on the back. So if you had gotten that box, you could have gotten one of the 4 characters, which for some god forbidden reason I got Tails instead of Sonic, but whatever. But yeah, that's just what it came in. So yay! If you're interested, get these. They're pretty cool.
Strongly worded letter about that.
There you go. Do I call myself Lizzie Tails? No, I don't. Lizzie Prower? No, I don't. All right. Kyle.
Yeah, so I did just pick up one thing this week. So a couple weeks ago, I had got I guess I better take this out here, a NES game called Desert Commander. And it's kind of one of those strategy games, sort of like, it has the same top-down views like Fire Emblem, but it doesn't work the same way. It's a little bit different. And it's pretty basic and stuff, but I bought that a while ago, and I was going in a store, and I was looking through some games, and I found another one, and the name was kind of similar, but I didn't really think a whole lot of it. But I guess this is sort of a sequel, maybe, to that game, and it's on the PSP, and it's called Field Commander. It was only like $3, so I decided to pick it up because I really like those kind of squad tactical sort of strategy games and things like that. And this works very much the same way. So if you haven't played the original one, you have a few different tiers of units. So you have like your basic infantry, tanks, half tracks. You have some air support in there as well. So basic units like that. And in the original, where depending on the terrain they would get defense, so just kind of a basic strategy sort of game like that, and you could play it either 2 players or 1 player on the NES, but there was only like 5 maps, and I don't think there was a map editor. So this is actually a good sequel in that it improves on at least one of those things, which is the map editor. You can add it in there, and it's a mission editor, so you can add objectives and things like that. Apparently, I haven't really messed with it a whole lot. Otherwise, the game hasn't changed a whole lot. A lot of the units are the same. The basic gameplay premise is the same, so just kind of having the powerful units and the right unit matchup. I do feel like it's a little bit of a step back gameplay-wise, because it just feels more like you have a tier of units and you just want to get the most powerful one, and as long as you have it and your opponent doesn't have the one unit that can counter it, then you just basically win. So I don't know. It's not a bad game. It has a lot of single player content so far, so I can't complain for $3. I like the PSP. It does have versus multiplayer, but you can't really do that now because the PSP technology is outdated. So most of the time you can't connect to internet with that.
Yeah, my PSP with that.
Yeah, which was unfortunate because that means you can't update games or anything. But thankfully, updating games wasn't really a thing back then, so most of the time if a game came out, it seems like they're pretty okay off the bat. But you know, if you're looking for a strategy game for like $3, just something kind of kill some time, you can pick it up. You know, it's a good idea for a game, but they really just need to refine the gameplay. It's just not there like some other games like Valkyria Chronicles, Fire Emblem, some of those other games are. This just kind of lacks that real gameplay, kind of like polish, and also just really misses anything to make it, I guess, super unique. There's some ideas there they could capitalize on, but it just needs more development, really. But that was my pickup for the week.
Nice, very nice. I got a couple of pickups. My son and I went camping for the weekend, and then it was kind of close to this game shop that's down south near Gilroy. It's called Game World 2. It's, as the name would imply, there's a Game World in San Jose, and this is kind of like a sister store to that. So, but the selections are completely different because it's Gilroy is more of like a small town type of suburban neighborhood, and San Jose is more of a big city kind of deal. So, so ironically enough, usually I find some really good pickups down in Gilroy because fewer people are snatching them up. Versus up here in San Jose, I tend to see like all the commons and everything. So one of the things that I got, which was kind of neat, is I got Montezuma's Return, which is a Game Boy Color game. And what's really nice about this game, this is actually a sequel to Montezuma's Revenge, which is a game that came out for the Sega Master System, the Commodore 64, bunch of different systems. Of the original game, the definitive edition is definitely the Sega Master System. It has the best graphics, gameplay, and everything. But this is, I looked at some YouTube footage of the game. This looks like it's a worthy sequel. So I'm looking forward to playing, some of this and seeing, how well the sequel holds up. I also got River City Ransom EX for the Game Boy Advance. This is kind of like a spiritual remake of River City Ransom with some updated graphics and gameplay, action, and stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing this. I also managed to get myself. I meant to mention Montezuma's Revenge came with the instruction manual, so that was kind of nice. And then I got Castlevania Circle of the Moon with the instruction manual.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so I don't really know anything about it. I looked up some gameplay video. It looks kind of neat. Also, the main character, I can't tell if it's a man or a woman, so I kind of like the mystery of the main character being kind of androgynous. I guess I will discover throughout the game, which it is. So many mysteries to unfold in the Castle of the Moon. Or Circle of the Moon, rather. The other thing, too, though, that I found is Lizzie's going to love one of these. I found 2 Dreamcast games complete in a good condition. I found Sonic Adventure, and I found Soul Calibur 1 for the Sega Dreamcast.
Nice.
So, last bit I picked up was they had a brand new the Xbox One camera. The one that I bought didn't really have a camera, and I didn't really miss it too much, but so much of the heads-up display is based on either Cortana or camera. It's really clunky and difficult to just do simple things like make screen captures and record video. It's way easier to just say, Xbox, record that. Xbox, take screenshots. So I finally caved in. The price was right, and I grabbed a camera for it. My last pickup, folks that have seen previous episodes know I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. And I saw a sealed copy of the Alan Wake, limited collector's edition, and I just had to get it. So what I like about it is it kind of looks like a book the way that they did it. Yeah. So, and my wife was asking, is this gonna be one of those ones that you get but you don't open it? So right here on the show, I will go ahead and open this if I can get my hands in there.
Foxy the Pirate wants to know, can they have Sonic Adventures?
No.
No.
Open with his teeth.
And actually, there's a I don't know if it's actually a sequel or if it's kind of like a standalone. What's that called? It's the other Alan Wake one. But if you like that one,
Alan Wake's American Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes, I have them both for the Xbox One. But
Oh, have you?
yes, I do. Alan Wake's American Nightmare only came out digital. Now I hate this. Do you guys hate this? Like the shrink wrap on this is done in such a way. Like I'm very pissed off now because the only way I can get into this is going to be to take a knife or something and potentially damage the actual box.
See, it's a
So
trap.
it's like, come on, it is a trap. It is a trap.
Probably be a ditch.
I can't do it. I can't. They sunk my battleship.
Oh, don't use a pen.
There we go. I got it. No, I got it. Look at that. I just need to get it started there. I just need to get it started. So there we go, Lisa. I did it. Lisa's my wife. There we go. I got it.
So what all comes in the special edition?
I don't know, actually.
Some diehard LA fans cringing right now that you open it.
So check this out, though. This is kind of cool. It actually does look like a legit book. That's pretty cool, and it's a hardcover. This is actually a hardcover, so that's kind of neat. So, folks that don't know the story of the game, Alan Wake, in the game, the main character is an author, and he's been suffering from writer's block. And so his wife takes him on a vacation to this small town, and they rent a cabin on an island, and things go totally crazy. And Alan Wake finds himself in the middle of a horror novel that apparently he has written but does not recall writing. So
I hate when that happens.
it's kind of neat. So it comes with so here's the game discs. Looks like, oops, there we go. Nice. It comes with a giant life-size no, I'm just kidding. Giant life-size mint there. It comes with the a bonus disc, which I'm not really sure what's on the bonus disc. I'll have to check that out. But then it's also got a soundtrack. So
Cool.
I have no idea what the heck bonus disc. It just says bonus disc. It doesn't say
Sometimes
It's like
like
music or
developer commentary and stuff when you get those. Yeah, like I don't think a lot of 360 games actually came with like the whole bonus disc thing.
Nice. It comes with something called the Alan Wake Files, which is another hardcover book. I don't know if this is a. Oh, that's interesting.
It's an actual book.
It's kind of like it's like an actual. It's kind of like a book, but it looks like it might be a guide that kind of masquerades as a book. So, and then this looks like this is the actual game itself, which is also shrink wrapped by itself. So that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. So that's what all it comes with. That's pretty cool. I feel like it's worth it. It looks great in the collection. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the game. So I think that's actually a really good, and I got it for the same. It's going for used. It's going for anywhere from $45, $20 to $45, depending on the condition. So to get one brand new, sealed, for about $40, I think was shipped, was a really good deal. So before we go on, we're going to jump into our picks of the week, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to say, I'd already kind of shown mine. I'm going to have to go with Soul Calibur 1 for the Dreamcast. This game, I was actually playing this game on the television today, and I was remarking at how, like, damn, this game holds up, like, well. The graphics look amazing. The sound is really, really good, really, really clear. The music is pretty good. The gameplay is tight. When you beat the game, if you play in arcade mode, you unlock new characters, new costumes, things like that. So I was surprised at just how good the graphics were for Dreamcast generation. So I think that this shows off the hardware well, and the price isn't bad. If you go on eBay, you can find it for between $15 to $20. So worth having.
Okay.
If you have a Dreamcast.
Sounds good.
If you have a Dreamcast, yes.
Don't worry, you can find them.
Not so much.
Yeah, it also plays pretty well in emulators.
But we don't promote those here.
Of course we don't.
Jeremy, did you have a pick this week?
Yes. It is Call of Duty 2, the big red one. First
Ah,
Call of Duty game ever.
Yeah.
Amazing storyline. To me, it's still better than most Call of Duties today. Yes, I said it. So you hate none of me. Yes, the big red one. My first Call of Duty ever. I still play it often.
Wait, did you say it's your first Call of Duty or the first Call of Duty?
My first Call of Duty.
Oh, I'm like, you just said it's number 2. What the hell? Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. I actually, we had that one too, and we played through that one. And I remember, I think it was like the sergeant or whoever the commander was. Like, it really reminded me of Band of Brothers, where I forget what his name is, but he was a sergeant in there, and like he'd always do that crazy stuff. So it kind of reminded me of that.
All right, so I guess Tyler's next.
Okay,
Yes,
my pick of the week is one of my favorite games, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this or not. I'm sure I have. Super Metroid.
Yeah.
I
nice.
love this game. This is one of those games I play through probably once a year, either on this or virtual console or in some form. I try to play it, like I said, about once a year. I love the game. I beat it so many times. I just never gets old. I don't know why.
Have you found absolutely everything, every pickup in the game?
Yes. Well, because I have a guide as well. I have the old Nintendo Power guide. I can't do it without the guide yet and get everything, but I have gotten everything before.
Cool.
It usually takes me forever, but yeah.
Tyler, do you play a lot of games with the guide? Because I know we were talking about the Zelda game and stuff, and you were talking about getting guides for that. Like, why do you like to pick up guides for the games?
You know, I usually don't. I only have a handful of guides. Most of them are the old Nintendo Power ones. I like the Metroid, the Earthbound, because it came with it. I really haven't bought any guides in a long time other than this Zelda one that I just picked up, because I usually don't do guides now. As a kid, I did, but yeah.
I have a lot of guides that I've been kind of collecting. When I find them cheap for like $5 or $10 or whatever, I can't resist it. Mainly, I get them for. I like playing the games for the story, but sometimes, depending on the game, like with Tomb Raider and Zelda games and stuff like that, I become something of a completionist. And what I like is I like trying to figure out everything on my own, and only if it's like ridiculously hard or ridiculously obscure. Like Super Metroid, eventually I'm gonna have to read a guide to figure out how to get to it. I got like 97%, and there's areas where there's like a hint that like, okay, I know there's something over there, but what the hell? Like I can't figure out like where the hell I've explored like everything I could possibly think of, bombed every friggin' wall I could possibly bomb, that kind of thing. So in those moments of desperation, I'll finally like look at a guide. But what I really like is, like you said, if I'm revisiting a game that I've played a dozen times, I like having the guide to kind of just remind me, oh, I forgot that this was there. I forgot that was there. Or, hey, I didn't know that this side quest existed, like if it's in a role-playing game or something like that. I like that. Or sometimes I'll just paw through, I don't have time to sit there and play through a 60-hour quest maybe, but I'll paw through the guide and kind of, oh, that was a fun mission, or that was cool, or that was cool. So just kind of as a way to reminisce about the game without having to like commit to actually playing the game.
Like a scrapbook you didn't make almost.
Yeah. It's even better than a scrapbook because someone else made it. Yeah. But I don't know, Kyle, you don't do guides?
I've wanted to pick some up. Every time I go in one of my game stores up here, like sometimes I'll take a look at the guides, but if I bought them for anything, I think it would have to be a game that I really like, or at least one that I own. I would like to get a guide sometime, because I have read articles about, how much work actually goes into some of these guides and how they really can add to the game experience. But it's just something I've never picked up because guides are usually about the price of like at least one or two games. So I've never really invested.
Yeah, they have to be a pretty good price too for me. I mean, the Zelda one I got on Amazon, I think for 23, 25, something like that. It's usually like 40, so it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, I gotta get them in the $5 to $10 range, unless it's Tomb Raider, in which case, shut up and take my money.
Michael said Call of Duty 4, most talked about the series of Call of Duty 4. I agree with that.
Yep.
That's like the biggest game.
Well,
So,
most talked about. Yeah, I mean, people still talk about it, like, oh, remember Call of Duty 4? Blah, the best Call of Duty.
Back in my day, we had Call of Duty 4.
And what did they do?
Complicated games.
And what they do? They come out with the new Call of Duty, and no one buys it for the new Call of Duty. They buy it for the remastered old Call of Duty.
That's what most people I know bought the most recent one for, just to get the old one.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Me.
I think Lizzie.
Yeah. Okay. It's the retro game of the week thingy, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm choosing The Lion King from Sega Genesis. You know, the one that nobody can beat, that everybody sucks at, but I've beaten it both on easy and hard mode. So, yay.
We're going to need to see a playthrough to prove that.
Blindfolded.
Yeah, well, if I can ever figure that out, I'd like to. But yeah, this is actually a really fun game because, you know, all the different levels. And then, of course, it has, like, the instrumental versions of the songs. I think the hardest part is actually the what do you call it? The exile area was probably the part I had difficult with for a while. But I'm pretty good about learning real quickly and sticking with the game because I was reading the booklet that came in it. And one thing it says here is be sure to take occasional breaks during extended play to rest yourself in the Sega cartridge. I never did that. I just kept playing the game until like it overheated.
You know, folks, it's very, very important that you make sure that your Sega cartridge gets plenty of rest. You do not want to have an overworked Sega cartridge when you're trying to play a game.
Far away,
They get whiny, they get irritable. It's not a good situation. Make sure your Genesis console and games get plenty of rest between play sessions.
No, you kidding me? I remember when I was younger, some weekends I would go straight and play all the Sonic games on Sega Genesis, from Sonic 1 to 2 to Sonic 3, and then like do that Sonic 3 and Knuckles combination.
Yeah.
Sonic Spinball, and then you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it all over again.
Yeah, I totally hear you. I went straight one weekend and then I ended up married, and here we are. So these things do happen when you don't let your console get rest.
Yeah, put your guard down next thing you know you're married.
But I do recommend this game. It is a lot of fun. It is kind of difficult because there's an easy mode and then there's a difficult mode.
Now, do you have to beat the easy mode to unlock the difficult, or are they both there out of the gate?
They're both there. It's just like it may take a few extra slashes to like hit a hyena or Scar or things like that. It seems like the stampede mode goes a little bit faster, so that is difficult because like the little wildebeest will come at you faster and jump on you, so you're gonna kind of gather way a little bit faster. But once you learn the pattern, you're good.
Yeah, I was surprised at how well the game actually followed the movie. With, like you said, the stampede and things like that. It was kind of neat how there were different modes of play, but they kind of played well into the progression of the game is like the progression of the movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I know that there's some like in between stuff where like Timon and Pumbaa appear and you're about to collect bugs. That does go faster, so you have to try to collect bugs as fast as you can. That's another difficulty. But other than that, I mean, it's somewhat the same. It's a hard game because I've seen a lot of people play it and they can't get past the Elephant Graveyard. So I
Amateurs.
understand. Yeah, man. I'm a girl and I can beat it. So
there you go. So speaking of girls that can beat things,
I knew that was going there.
Yeah. So Alicia, is it Vikander? Anyway, I don't know, but she's a well-known French actress, and she's played other roles. She was a machine in Ex Machina, But she's going to be the new Lara Croft in the movie released next year based on the reboot of the game series. So what do you guys think of that? Have you heard it? It's been all over the Twitter. I saw it yesterday. A lot of people are saying, like, on the one hand, I'm super psyched because she's dressed the same. She, you know, they try to get her hairstyle and everything the same. She's got the same, you know, pickaxe and everything that she uses to climb stuff. So it looks like they're going to try to stick closely to the game reboot canon, which I think is really, really cool. A lot of folks are saying that, like, you know, she looks exactly like Lara. No, she doesn't look exactly like Lara. I'm okay with that, but it's kind of funny to see some people are already, you know.
I've seen our Twitter dash arguing with all the people like, no, you're wrong.
Hey, you're wrong. She doesn't look anything like her.
You're a moron.
So no, I don't think she looks like a bad Lara. I mean, for me, I don't know. It's kind of hard because, you know, I thought Angelina Jolie actually did a pretty decent job with the Lara Croft character, and I didn't think the movies, the first two movies with Angelina Jolie were terrible movies. I'm not going to say that they were excellent movies, but they were, you know, they were about as good as an Indiana Jones flick, I thought. They were definitely better than National Treasure, I felt. I know. So let me see. Do I want to stare at Nicolas Cage or do I want to stare at Angelina Jolie for 2 hours?
Nicolas Cage.
So, folks, who would you rather stare at for 2 hours? Nicolas Cage or Angelina Jolie dressed like Lara Croft?
Only one of them stole the Declaration of Independence, so I think we know who.
No,
I haven't actually played the new games, so I don't really know a whole lot about like the story. But for me, I guess it would kind of be about how they approach that story with her. That's gonna be kind of like determine how good the movie is, because that's one of the things about. I'm not sure if I mentioned on here, but Ghost in the Shell, right? Is that like if you never watched the show, I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. And like, obviously, if you've watched a lot of these videos, they put a lot of work into like all the animatronics and all the mask making and things like that. That's really cool. It's just that it doesn't exactly duplicate, I guess, what made Ghost in the Shell good necessarily. But that's kind of like a whole nother conversation. I'm not like a great authority on that, but I just feel like it's kind of going to miss a point there where the good thing about something like Lara Croft, you know, all the actiony stuff and the climbing and everything else, like you can take liberties with that. There's not really a set thing with it. But what I would really like to see with them kind of do that I think would make it a really good movie is really go into developing like character, right? So I think the reboot was kind of like how they did with Anniversary, which was like another redo of the first game, where it kind of goes from her being this really innocent kind of person, explorer, to having to face like not only all these dangers, but also like having to kill people and hurt people in order to kind of preserve her own life and things like that. So I would like to see them take kind of an interesting approach to the whole survivor mentality and going from, you know, from explorer to kind of survivor and really just developing the character. I feel like if they get that character development, then personally, I think it would be a good movie.
If the only thing, you should really check out the first game in the reboot, because if the only thing that they did was blatantly copy the story arc from the first game in the reboot, they do exactly what you just said. They literally take her down to, you know, this, you know, naive, adventurous girl. And what in the world is that noise? Sounds like a dog or like somebody panting in the background.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
I'm like, what in the world is going on?
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know. That's very weird.
I'm like, I'm going crazy over here. What are you doing, Lizzie?
But anyways, you were saying.
I have no idea. I was being silent to see if it comes back without any voice. But anyway, yeah, the comment that I wanted to make is that, folks, I'll hold up the, let me get a copy of it.
Today's show is brought to you by Royal King. Oh yeah.
So if we take a look at the Lara Croft, right, that we actually have on the cover of the Tomb Raider game there, you take a look at that, and then take a look at the Lara Croft and the initial photos and everything. I'll show you more of a full color. If you take a look at Lara Croft in the original artwork for the first Tomb Raider game, and then you look at the clothing that Laura is wearing, Alicia's wearing portraying Laura in the first couple shots, it does indeed look like my speculation that they're basically movieifying the first game. So, which means I expect to see, you know, exactly the kind of character development that you're talking about, Kyle, where she starts out, you know, just kind of wanting adventure, wanting to see the world, wanting to do things, discover, you know, things, and ends up in a kill or be killed type situation. And like it or not, you know, she needs to do what she needs to do, or she's just going to be a statistic, and you know, die in this island that she ends up shipwrecked on. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be really neat. I will miss you know, Angelina Jolie as the role of Laura, but I'm willing to let another fill the shoes.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it up.
What's that?
I said if she ruins the movie, though, you're gonna be all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Angelina was probably good for that kind of role and stuff, but I think someone different would probably be better suited to this sort of character development sort of role. But like you said, it just really kind of depends. You know, if it's directed well and they develop it well, it could be a lot better movie than it's supposed to be. But it really just kind of depends all on that. It's either going to be average or better than that, I guess. So
we'll see. And she's, I mean, she's a lot of folks are, you know, calling Alicia the new it girl, the it girl of this generation. If you look at her, you go into IMDb and you look at the movies and everything that she's been in, she's really an up and coming rising star, you know, in Hollywood these days. So they're not much like Angelina, you know, she wasn't a nobody when they cast her as Laura. But it was a much different Laura back then than it is now. The way that they're kind of portraying the character and positioning the character in the reboot is quite a bit different from the Laura from the original game. So I think though, what gives me hope is that you're right. I think this kind of Laura needs a new character, needs a new face. And I definitely think that this Laura can resonate a lot better with a wider gaming demographic than the original Laura. The original Laura was basically for teenage boys. But I think this is the kind of Laura that could be like a, you know, kind of like a hero figure for you know, for the women.
Speaking of, you know, game movies coming, guess what movie's coming next year?
What?
Well, they
Is it a Sonic movie?
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Coming next year, March 9th, 2018, Ralph Breaks the Internet. So our favorite video game cameos may return. Who knows? But
I haven't seen the first one.
I just saw that.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So I had to slip my news article in there because Jeremy was going to put the Tomb Raider news item in the very back of all the news updates, and I just couldn't let that stand.
Lies. Okay, tell the truth.
All right, so on with what Jeremy wanted to talk about now.
So, okay, the first one, the Evil Empire. GameStop is closing 225 stores.
Now, is that in the U.S. or is that worldwide?
Worldwide.
What's the deal?
Worldwide.
Which is not surprising because they're like Starbucks around every corner.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of GameStops.
The last 5 years, they closed 2 already in my area. So I'm gonna check the list later and see if any more in my area are closing.
They keep making them over here in my hometown where I live. Like over here, there's an area called Copperfield. There's one right here. You just go down the street and it's right in the parking lot at Walmart. and it's only about less than a mile from each other. It's like about like you could just walk over there. It's like what the heck? What the heck, GameStop? I mean, you go in my mall, there's 2 of them, and there's one right outside. It's like, well, who the hell are you catering to?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's what I think is difficult right now for GameStop. Digital has dried up a lot of the used market. Although, I mean, if you go to GameStop, it still seems like there's not enough space for them to really give all the inventory. There's just still too much there. But for me, I guess the hard part is that I look at a used game and it's only like $5 cheaper, but half the crap on there is like a digital pass of this or that. Like I don't know anymore if when I buy the game used, am I going to get all the same stuff if I just looked and
I assume no. I never even tried.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I assume I'm going to be missing some stuff, so I might as well just wait till the shrink wrap version is like $20 and then buy it brand new. And then the other thing is, you know, not having it at all because it's digital, so you can't.
So fast. Stop by digital. Buy physical only.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be hard for them though, right? It's got to be getting harder for them to sell, because I can't believe I'm the only one going, I'm not going to buy it used because it's probably missing some stuff.
The worst part is used is barely cheaper, so I was like, I might as well just buy new.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned having them so close together. I mean, I work 15 minutes from my house. I have a 15-minute commute. I pass 2 of them on my way to work. Like, why? Why are they so fucking close together?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you mentioned that too, because I was watching some of those GameStop employees tell it all sort of videos they have on YouTube, and that's one of the things one of them mentioned was they had opened a store, a new GameStop store, and they knew it was a bad area and a crappy area, and like that there's no reason to have one there. But GameStop went ahead and just opened a store there. So it may very well be, and I have that in my town too, where up in Muncie, I think there's like one in the mall and then one on the other side of town, which they're far enough apart that I guess I could see that. But at the same time, it's like, is it really necessary? Or actually, maybe the mall doesn't have one. Maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else. But yeah, it does bring up that point that the stores that are closing will probably just be the ones that were kind of unnecessary to begin with. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a bunch of stores close and like, oh, there's no more game stores. I'm going to have to drive 50 minutes to the mom and pop shop, you know. I don't think that's going to be
I don't know, but the thing is, like in my hometown of Houston, we really don't need that many GameStops because there is something called Game Plus, which is just a GameStop, but it's a few dollars cheaper. And then there's something called Game Over Video Game Store, which is, I guess it's native to here to Texas. Yeah. So we have some stores that are more like locally owned, and they seem to do a lot better than GameStop, because when I go from GameStop, they always seem like a bunch of little jerks. Like even the girls who work there, you're like, what, you think you're all that because you work in this damn place? Please. You're still a bit.
I don't know who I am.
Wow. Yeah,
the thing is, I don't like it. The service.
Yeah, I think that's a mileage may vary. I mean, I've definitely there's at least, I'm in San Jose. I think there's like 20 GameStops, and I'm not exaggerating. Like in one area on Blossom Hill Road, there's literally a mall, like a 2-story mall that has a GameStop in it, and then directly across the street is a GameStop in a strip mall. It's like, and the GameStop in the strip mall is like twice the size of the GameStop in the other mall. So it's
not like a mall was.
Yeah, it feels like, okay, well, GameStop's in the mall because it's the mall and you got to have a GameStop, but they barely have enough room for their inventory and their stuff, right? And they certainly don't have prices that can compete with Target, which is literally right next door. Like, it's like, here's Target in the mall, and then here's GameStop in, like, you know, a closet right next to Target. So you know, if you're gonna be in Target, you're probably gonna get your game there, unless you have a pre-order at GameStop or something. And I definitely have seen, you know, some GameStops because usually I'll go in and I'll be like, hey, you know, I'll see if they have like posters or something like that they're getting rid of, or if they have cases that they've thrown in the trash because they don't have the game for it or something like that. And sometimes they kind of like, you know, some of the stores are kind of like, what the hell, like, dude, go away. And then other times, like the one right down the road from me, they're super awesome. They see me coming like, hey, Dash V, right? And then they're like, you know, we saved a poster for you because we thought you'd like this one, things like that. So I think it's really more about the people than about GameStop itself. So,
it is, because I've heard stories online like a lot of times they just throw stuff away. Like for like a big example, I know people hate Sonic Boom. That's pretty much clear. But there was a figure, and I have it on my wall over here, but it's a Sonic Boom figure, and it was for the Wii U game, and it was a GameStop exclusive, and they were supposed to give it to you when you got the game. And apparently people were reporting that they were throwing them all away in the dumpster. There was greeting cards that they made also, and they were sold only at GameStop, and they were throwing them all away. And for fans like me, specifically for Sonic, you're like, okay, GameStop, I know you don't like Sonic, but for the fans like me who do, at least give us enough respect to just say, hey, you know, if you really want this, we had this. Don't just fucking throw them away.
Yeah, I think those are individuals, right?
Well, it's company policy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was calling around. Yeah, I mean, I was calling around and I was trying to look for a used game, and this guy started ranting. He's like, "Yeah, we don't have the case, and most probably don't because it's company policy that they have to throw it away," which is stupid. I mean, I know it's a safe space, but like,
no, I don't know. Like, have we? Well, before I want to be. I'm not sure. Have we actually seen in writing that this is GameStop policy? Because my local
employee told me.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Like, honestly, I think that's bullshit, and here's why. I've been to 2 separate GameStops here in my area, where like when he threw, I was at one GameStop and I literally saw it was an RPG game or something, and I saw the case for it like in the garbage, and I said, "Why is that case in the garbage?" He goes, "Oh, we don't have the game for that." I said, "Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were just chucking it because it's like, no, dude, we don't just chuck cases." He's like, "If we have he goes, we keep whatever we buy, and that's what we sell back." So I said, "Okay." I thought I'd read somewhere that you guys had a policy or whatever. He goes, "There is no policy that we throw stuff away." He's like, "We sell what we have." He goes, "The only thing that we do have to do," he goes, "is if we don't have a game, most people don't care about an empty case and a manual. So if we don't physically have the game." Right, or if somebody accidentally sold the game like loose because they didn't know that they had a case for it, and then you find out later, well, you can't track down the guy that bought, you know, Kirby's Avalanche, you know, 4 months ago. So you just end up chucking what you got. But and then I asked the same question at the local. One of them I asked the question of the guys in the mall because that's where I found it was one of the Tales games. They had the actual case in the garbage, but they didn't have the game. And then the other time that they'll throw away cases is if they have the game, so they bought it like in a whole collection of games or whatever. But if somebody bought the game, took it home, brings it back and says, "Hey, these scratches, the game doesn't play," they'll throw the whole thing out. Right? Because they don't sell like resurfaced stuff.
Right.
If it's obviously resurfaced, then they won't resurface it themselves. So those are the only situations in which they throw stuff away. So I've personally confirmed that at 2 different GameStops.
I'll try to find out this week what the policy is.
They throw these away. Why the hell did they throw us away?
I'm gonna say that's an asshole employee that was trying to fuck with people that like Sonic. That's just me. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't. If you think about it, like, what does GameStop, the store, have to gain by selling people inferior product? It really doesn't have anything to gain.
Well, yes. Also GameStop doesn't like certain things. Like I saw it on the internet, so I know there's a lot of Sonic fans out there who could probably back me up and say, yeah, like a lot of Sonic stuff gets thrown away if it's like things like that game I just showed y'all, or the poster, the greeting cards, because like, oh, we don't like Sonic. I don't give a fuck what you like or don't like. It's for me, bitch.
Well, I know the empty boxes, right? I know the empty boxes. Like, for example, The Last of Us remastered, the PlayStation, PlayStation 4. That's just an empty display box, and they gave that to me because they, when the new ones come in, they actually have boxes and posters that are given to them by the companies for no purpose other than to be display pieces. And, they rotate those out fairly regularly. So I do know that for display piece only stuff, they do have a policy to chuck it, but that does not cover manuals or cases. Because the reality is they can actually fetch a better price for it if they have all the pieces than if they just have the discs.
Well, and that's like the silly thing too, is I think if you trade stuff in there, they will actually give you less if like you don't have the stuff with it.
Yes,
they charge the same price. But I don't know. Like I said, that one guy told me that it was policy. Maybe it's not. Maybe it just depends on the regional manager or something.
Yes, that would be my guess. My guess would be that the manager, probably in an interest to save space or something like that, because most of these stores are very cramped, he might have made it their local policy that if you run out of space, chuck old shit.
Yeah. But no, I don't.
GameStop in general, I have yet to have anybody show me actual written policy from GameStop that says that they do that. So I just want to make sure not to spread misinformation.
GameStop. How do you cover GameStop?
Now, Adam Blevins says, yes, it's GameStop policy. I've always heard it's policy. Adam, with all due respect, my friend, I've heard many times that it's policy too. Until I see it in GameStop, on their company letterhead or in an official email from, GameStop headquarters. Just because a lot of managers could do it, it still doesn't make it GameStop policy.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
here's the question:
I'm
when they all close, what's going to happen to all the stuff? Is it going to go to like
sell out for 5% to the rest of the locals?
What?
Yeah, they'll just siphon it into other stores, I'm sure.
Yeah, they'll probably have some sales where they slash the hell out of the prices for a while. And then they'll probably like Tyler was saying, redistribute whatever doesn't sell to some of the other things.
I mean, like for
if they
example,
think it's worth money, they're gonna shift the inventory around.
Well, I mean, like for example, there's a really cool GameStop that is by Walmart where my mom works at, and it's a huge one, but they've got tons of plushies, posters, all that stuff. So I'm like, oh my gosh, man, if that one went out of business and they're closing, you're like, oh heck yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in there I kind of want to get.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say, folks, keep an eye out you're probably going to see some sales.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if anyone knows of a GameStop that's closed down before and has had to sell, let us know. That way we can know if to expect that or not. But just a couple of things here before I guess we move on to topics. I don't necessarily think GameStop has like a war out against Sonic or anything, but I guess there could be a couple employees that maybe there's that policy in there that you don't have to take the extra stuff, and I guess I could have got rid of it. I don't know. But I was talking to one employee, and we were talking about the merchandise and actually our podcast a little bit and some other stuff. And one comparison he had made, I don't know if it was EB Games or just a different store he was working at, but he said that when he was working there shortly before the store closed down, he saw the same transition that GameStop's been doing for a while, which is it goes from just selling that product of just games and stuff to start doing all this merchandising like they've done with the Think Geek stuff, which is, and I assume most of the stores now, all of my local stores do that, but selling the merchandise, selling the t-shirts, and I think even online in the article it said that was like 30% or something, or profits went up like 30% or something like that on their merchandise. And what he noted was that this had happened before, and another store had done this where they started making that switch to selling merchandise, and then a couple of years down the road, they completely bombed. So it may be possible. I mean, he was just predicting that could be the case, but it may be that this is kind of the start of the downfall of GameStop, where they start selling this merchandise, and that's an indicator of it. But that was just a theory, but I thought that was interesting to share. As you said, closing down GameStops that we don't really need, probably, and also keeping in mind Amazon and Best Buy. Now, Amazon has been getting some flack for canceling games, but their programs, their membership programs for buying especially new games is really good. I think like Amazon or Best Buy, if you buy the membership and it's only so much a year, you get like 10-20% off a new game, which lowers it from like 60 to 40 or 50 bucks. Yeah. And, you know, you go to GameStop, what do you get? Nothing. And they tried to do the spring promotion where you bought a pass for $10 and you got like, what, $10 off new games or something, which does it pay for itself? Yes. Does it also help get in more used games for their whole circulation thing? Yeah. But it's still not as good of a deal as these other places are offering, really. Now, that being said, Best Buy doesn't usually have the low price, but they will price match at least. I still don't go to Best Buy for any used games. They just don't have the selection around here. They're not as competitive. But if you're buying new stuff, it's a better deal.
Right? They seal the used games, and then they put on there may or may not come with manual, may or may not come with. It's like you know what? I don't want to gamble when it's like still $30 for the game.
Right.
Well, I know. I know. Also, Walmart's doing that because Walmart will let you sell your games there, and they'll give you a gift card. I know. Walmart's been doing that as well.
I do like that when I've gone to the GameStops, I do have to give them this. You are right. I don't think that they incentivize enough for pre-ordering from them versus pre-ordering other places. I don't think that they necessarily give the best deals on new games. But one of the things that I do think that they've done a great job at, if I go in and I'm considering getting something, there's been just about every time I'm like, can I see the disc first? Can I see the manual? And sometimes they'll come out and they'll be like, we got a couple discs, we got a couple manuals. And I've literally been like, I'll take that case, that disc, and that manual, and I've like assembled like the golden, the golden, trifecta there, and left the other, maybe as a nick in the manual or a scratch on one of the discs or whatever. So
I've done the same thing, but they haven't.
I do like that.
They haven't always been very accommodating. Like they'll do it, they don't like it.
Yeah, well, I would say it's up to
depends.
It's probably down to the individual people.
I absolutely do. There's been a couple of places where, and I think too, some of them, like there's 20 different GameStops. There's maybe 3 that I go to regularly, and so they know who I am now. They know what I'm looking for, and sometimes I don't even like the one right by my house. I don't even have to ask. Right? I'll come up and be like, "Hey, you want us to find a case in the manual?" Yep. And he's like, you don't want this one? You don't want this one? Oh, look, dude, that one looks practically brand new. How about that one? Like they already know. So I think with some of these other ones, though, I think, if you think about who's working at some of these places, some of these, it might be their first job, right? Yeah. And so it might not be, some of them are probably like they're working there because they love games or they loved games. And now they have to deal with all these like, entitled gamers that are showing up like the day of bitching like, how come you don't have an NES Mini for me? How come you don't have an NES Mini for me? I could see it kind of wearing on them after a while if it's not somebody that's the temperament of, it's a younger person, maybe not a whole lot of experience with working and that kind of thing. You've got right now, games that are coming out that are low in quality, but not quality, sorry, low in quantity but high in demand, like all the Nintendo stuff, just about. So I think, it really depends. And as I think about it, the more often the times that I've been treated like politely and I've been treated like, very accommodating and everything, it's usually been like somebody older that's working there, like somebody 30s or older, that's kind of really known customer service, known, how to kind of treat folks, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you are right.
Most of my GameStop people are pretty cool around here. I just really wish they'd pay them better. And also, I think some places have problems with giving just a couple hours to people and then hiring a bunch of different people. It's just a lot of company policy things that if they changed it, they could do so much better.
Yeah, so maybe with them tightening the belt, maybe this will give them the power to do that, right? Maybe they've just been stretching themselves too thin.
Yeah, I also agree. It depends who they hire because, like, I'm a girl. I don't
Really?
I don't always get the best treatment unless I go in there with Adam or some other guy, and they're actually in there with me. You know, they kind of like blow you off, like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" You know that kind of look like, "What are you doing here?"
We're all out of Barbie and Care Bears.
Are you here
Yeah,
for
like-
Mario and Minecraft?
Yeah, but it's kind of funny when you're like talking to them, and they go, "Oh," and they kind of stare at you like, "Oh, she knows what she's talking about." Well, then they kind of look at you like, "Oh, I thought you were like 18 or something." You're like, "No, I mean, how old did you think I was?" They go, "Oh, we thought you were a little kid." But even in my age, they still look down at me like, "Oh, well, what are you doing in here?" I go, "Well, girls play games too. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, but we do play games too." In fact, the only GameStop that was nice to me was the one by the Walmart where my mom works at, because it was a girl working there, and they had Sonic Boom, Fire, and Ice posters, and she gave me 2 of them.
Oh, nice.
That was the only thing. Every other GameStop, they kind of look at you like, "Why are you in here?"
Yeah.
Unless you go in there with a guy and he's your friend or your boyfriend or whatever, then they're like, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Jeremy, what else do we have on the news front?
Okay, let's cover this one real quick. Super Mario Run did not make the money Nintendo hoped for. Maybe because you charged it $10 for the stupid thing. I don't know.
Yeah, $10
Oh,
for
did he?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But it
think
was Mario.
if they charged $2 for it, it'd be on every fucking phone in America.
Exactly.
I've
Okay.
seen it in the Apple stores. It's like on the dang display on the walls.
Yeah. I played the demo and I'm like, this is not worth $10 for me.
It's worth $5.
They should have just did it for free and have paid content.
Or even 99 cents
there
would
you
be
go.
fine.
There you go.
That's what it was, really.
Yep. I would have paid $2 for it.
Nintendo Switch, iPads, and more ban on incoming U.S. flights. So if you want to be coming back to the United States, you want to play with your iPad or Switch, no go. They're banning it now.
Why is that?
I assume for safety reasons, because it's coming into the United States.
Ugh.
Because people are stupid, and people outside keep wanting to blow us up, so they're taking everything away from us.
So not me. It's a name on her. Okay, Dash V knows about this. Nintendo Switch adds 3 new games the other day.
Oh my goodness.
Jesse?
Okay, folks. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
Let me tell you. Call Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity knows. Ask Sean. All right. No, here. I'm so pissed off about, like, why is this even an announcement? Like, here's the games, guys. Here's the games. Oh, hang on. My Switch just froze. Hang on.
Well, they added a patch. They had an update today
Dude,
as
seriously?
well.
Yes, there's also an update that wasn't
Doesn't
apparently nothing according to
Do
Tyler.
much. Yeah, it's just a stability
All right,
patch.
there we go. All right, I unfroze it.
Some stability and everything.
Come on, now I gotta wait for it to reload the eShop. So one of the games is the blockbuster, critically acclaimed Othello board game.
Monopoly?
What the hell? Like, what? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. It's not working. Cannot display the page.
Isn't Othello pretty much just like Go? Or it's like similar, isn't it?
It's like it's kind of like a checkers thing. Only you have a black chips and you have white chips, and on one side they're black, and on the other side they're white. And you pick a color and you lay out the chips, and you put down a chip, and if the bookends are the same color, then all the chips in the middle flip to the same color.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, it's a fun game. It's a good game to play on your table with friends and stuff. Don't really understand why that would be a launch title on the Switch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I can't show you guys. Apparently, it's me, guys. I'm wrong. Othello is like amazing. It's taken out the eShop. You can't even get on there to download it. But yeah, I'm not able to connect to the eShop for some reason currently.
Must have made it mad, dude.
XP Coin here. Going back to the other topic just for momentary, said IAP in-app purchases sucks though. I agree, but I think it would have been a more successful business model at least. And then anyone wanting For Life of Black Tiger on the Switch. That was, I think that was the one that got released on the PSN that Jim Sterling talked about. You'll have to tell us in the chat if that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, more Nintendo news. Nintendo finally talks about the Switch Joy-Con issues. Says they are now fixing. A quote manufacturing variation is to blame. And no Dash V is having this issue right now.
Yep, the manufacturing variation, Nintendo. I can shed some light on it. You were supposed to ship the working ones, not the broken ones. Glad I could clear that up for you.
If you want to hire Dash V executive, feel free to.
Is it just me, or does the whole like this excuse is what it is? This reasoning, this manufacturing variation. Does it sound like bullshit to anybody else?
It totally does. It's like
it sounds like alternative facts. You know, it's just it's like we're just gonna call it something else when it's clear as day. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Nintendo, let me ask you a question. Is this a manufacturing variation?
Sure.
Why the black screen?
Oh wait, there you go. There you go. All right, we're all good.
It's a 3D model.
Yes, we're all good now. Don't worry, guys. It's all good.
It's a thin model.
Oh, manufacturing variation. Sorry.
Okay, and one of our last topics, Pokemon Go finally lets you catch shiny Pokemon. I know Pokemon Go is still a thing. After I got banned for cheating.
I'm not cheating.
Well, Jeremy, in their defense, you were cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't cheating. I just have to be all around the world at one time.
I like how it's like he's using the air quotes and everything. I got banned for cheating.
I was at Chernobyl that day, I swear.
Well, if using tools to exploit their API to claim to be in places I'm actually not so I can capture Pokemon that I'm not actually near is cheating.
I was in Chernobyl that day, and I was also outside Area 51 the other day. Can't prove me wrong. So, yes. And
unless during that same time you were on an episode of Retro Reload.
We did show me being banned.
Broadcasting live from Area 51 and Chernobyl
I didn't go in
simultaneously.
Area 51 because I was too paranoid that the cops were confused me.
Oh man.
That's it.
I didn't know Pokemon Go was still a thing, I guess.
It is.
I'm still,
I didn't either.
I have the app on my phone still.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids still play it.
I play it once in a while. You see, he's right there.
If you give my old account back, I would play.
Yeah, right.
So, folks, anybody here? Anyone? What? That's the one. Pretty crappy. What is it? I want to try Snake Pass on Switch. Ah, okay, yeah. That was one of the other games, Snake Pass.
What's Snake Pass?
It's one of the other games that's available on the eShop if you can actually get to it. So
it looks interesting. I read about it today. It actually looks kind of interesting. I haven't really
to use
played it or anything.
Pass snakes. Is that with your hands?
No, I don't know.
just go. It sounds so much fun.
Nice.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Well, seriously though, what is it?
I would show you, but I can't connect to the eShop because the Wi-Fi. Apparently, I also have a manufacturing variation on the Wi-Fi adapter as well.
It's because you make Nintendo mad live.
I'm telling you, for anybody that's out there still debating, do I get the Switch or not? Mine has just been nothing but buyer's remorse. So
$5 for it.
I'm not buying it right now.
So I gotta get the controller swapped out with the non-manufacturing variation version.
I'll talk to you about that.
So, but all right. So, folks, it's time. This has been Retro Reload. I definitely have to say, I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know, these things still work, right?
Oh, the manuals?
10 years, 20 years, the games, right? These games, they still work. You can drop them. You can.
Of course.
Just don't drop your iPhone and lose your sandwich. I did yesterday.
Yeah, it still works.
Drop your iPhone into a ham sandwich?
No, I dropped my iPhone yesterday. Now it doesn't make any sound. I can't listen to audio. I can't hear phone calls.
Ah, Lizzie, I'm impressed that you have the box for that.
But the 20-year-old
Thank
games
you.
still work when you drop them. Thanks technology.
Yeah, man.
So,
Well, I'm usually pretty good at taking care of my stuff, so.
yeah, XP
Anyone out
Coin.
there?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying that. So anyone out there who whines that they can't, that they play their games and I go, well, take better care of your shit, man. I mean, put it back in the box
absolutely.
and put it back on the shelf.
Absolutely. XP Coin, yeah, I'm not saying it lightly. I do have buyer's remorse, right? Like when I read that Zelda Breath of the Wild is practically indistinguishable from the Wii U version, that they actually remove content from the Wii U version so that it couldn't be perceived as being superior in some ways to the Switch version. They wanted to make sure the Switch and the Wii U versions were on level playing field. That just kind of that breaks my heart. When I can't sit on my couch and play it in console mode because they didn't test all their manufacturing variations as extensively as they should have. And so now I got to send it out and wait 2 weeks for them to send me a replacement.
That's a ton of mindset, playing 20 feet away.
That really annoys me. So when my Wi-Fi, so my router's in the middle of the house, right on the second floor. It's a 3-story house. So on the third floor, right above the network apparatus, I can't say switch because we'll get confused. So right above the Wi-Fi access point, I can't get 5G, but I can get 2G. So then I go downstairs onto the first floor, I can get 5G but not 2G. And then on the second floor, which is like I'm literally right next to the wireless access point, I can't get either. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, so the wireless features of it might as well be non-existent. It's just an exercise in frustration for me. When my Xbox One, my PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 3, every other console that I have that has my 3DSs all work perfectly fine all throughout the house. It's for a flagship product. I really, I guess, was expecting Nintendo to do a better job quality control wise. So I think when they get to the manufacturing variations that actually work the way that they're supposed to, it's going to be a great console.
You heard that, Sega? Don't screw it up, man, when Sonic Mania comes out.
Yeah, Tyler, I get you. I mean, I think it's one of those mileage may vary, right? I see what you're saying, yeah. Tyler, that you have yet to have any problems. I think that's great. I definitely think that that's great. I was willing to kind of write off maybe people are using it wrong or they haven't set up their wireless correctly or whatever.
No, yours is just screwed somehow.
Yeah, it's totally it's completely jacked. So I'm not impressed at all.
You know, my boyfriend's got one too. I gotta ask him, but he told me he wasn't having any problems either. But when I finally get one, I'm gonna pray over it. I'm gonna take it to church, have it blessed, everything.
Have like holy water sprinkled on it.
It's just the colored ones, isn't it? Though it's not the gray ones, right?
No, it's actually both. From what I've
no, it's both. Yeah, it's definitely both.
I don't know if it's just like a quality control problem because I don't know if I mentioned this on the show just before the show to Chris, but I talked to a couple of guys at our game store about the smudge scratchy thing on the corner, and they said like they knew like 2 or 3 people and none of them had a problem with it. So I don't know if this is like quality control issues where not all of them were up to the standards or what.
Yeah, I think it might be too soon to tell. But I definitely think, you know, my initial impressions. This is gonna tell all of it. I have a better first impression from the Retron 5 than I do from the Nintendo Switch.
Damn, 2 boxes rocks.
So yeah, so I'm not really, you know, Nintendo Hyperkin took you to fucking school. So I don't know, but I mean that was another one. The reason that I mentioned that one is that was another one where, you know, there were tons of people saying, "Oh, bent pins and this doesn't work." And my real only complaint with the Retron 5 was that I hated the controller. The controller I was not a big fan of. But you plug in a Nintendo or Super Nintendo controller, or you use one of these things from 8-Bit Do, which is amazing, and problem solved. So unfortunately with the Switch, you know, what's your answer? Send in your controller for a replacement and go spend $80 on another pair while you wait?
Nope.
If the controllers cost $80, I expect them to be a little bit more. But maybe this is
made of gold.
Like what you're saying, Kyle. Yeah, made of gold. I think like what you're saying, Kyle. In general, I think manufacturing in general is having an issue scaling to worldwide demands, because this isn't the only technology that we've seen have different variations in quality, right? And I don't know if it means that different plants are manufacturing them, or if, you know, fabrication 1 they use certain chips, and fabrication 2 they use other chips or whatnot. But it's clear that they can't produce, not just Nintendo, but in general. It's true. It's obvious that a lot of companies are having problems producing things at a consistent level of quality.
Yeah.
Well,
If
yeah,
someone could leak out some letters letting us know what happened, that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of what I was wondering about before. I know I mentioned it in the chat between us. I don't think I mentioned on the show, but I mean, I'm wondering if it's like the first batch maybe was bad, and then they fixed it in subsequent batches. You know, because I mean, there's no really time stamp on anything that I could find. So I'm just wondering if that's why it's obviously an issue, but it's not all of them.
Right.
You know, I wonder if it's time based or it's just like a different facility making them.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I was thinking facilities.
We'll probably never know.
Yeah, we probably won't. I think you're right with that. So the cool thing is, though, right, as harsh as I was with them, the cool thing is Nintendo, even if they're doing it in a very Donald Trump way, they're owning up to the fact that something might not be exactly as optimal as one might hope for it to be after spending $300 on a product. But and they're willing to, in those cases, do something to rectify the situation in a way that, you know, doesn't hurt them too much, but gives you something that almost works again.
Yeah.
So, and they're fixing the existing controller. They won't send you a replacement, but they'll take yours back and do something to it, and then send it back to you. Actually, what I was curious to do was, I know that somebody did a teardown of, they took a picture of their controller before they sent it in, and then they got it back, and then they took another picture and they just saw a little piece of foam. But what I'm wondering if that was actually the exact same main board, or if they swapped out the innards. And so what I'm curious to do is maybe I'll take my controller, put a mark on it with like a marker, send it in, and then when I get it back, see if they actually send me the same board or if it's a different board.
Well, now they're going to keep the same because now they heard the show.
I'll have to look into that because
they don't watch the show. They just flag us for, you know, copyright infringement and steal our ad revenue.
Yeah, I'll have to check into that because I think I'm the one that found that actually, like the first time.
You did.
I think, if I remember correctly, there's a serial number on the inside, and he said it's the same one. And I don't know if that's the same board or the same, what parts were the same necessarily. I'll have to go back and kind of look into that and see.
That's why I was like, I'll just open it up, just put like a little dot with like a magic marker, like in a very specific spot, and then I'll send it in and see if when it comes back, it has the dot on it.
You know, Adam said maybe your Switch has a Japanese Oni in it. You know what you could do? If you go to Akiba, they have a shrine there, and you can actually get it looks like one of those I think it's PCB board, one of like the computer chip boards, and it has like a sticker, and you can actually put it on your electronics, and that's supposed to be to like keep it safe, like a blessing. So maybe there's your quick fix, a little divine help there.
There we go. Some divine.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, some divine intervention there. So, well, folks,
doesn't surprise me.
It's been fun. We hope that you enjoyed our picks of the week. Definitely check us out in some of our past episodes as well. We've talked about the Switch quite a bit. So, and anybody that thinks that I'm hating on it a bit too much, go check out my Blaster Master playthrough. I love Blaster Master Zero for the Switch. If you're not ready to get the Switch yet, though, keep in mind you can get Blaster Master Zero for the 3DS.
Sweet.
So, folks, we'll see you next Tuesday. And feel free to put your picks of the week down in the doodly-doo if you missed us in the live chat. Also, what are your experiences with the Switch? We've already asked this on the Twitter. We've had both sides. We've had people say no issues. We've had people say, hey, same problems as Dash V. We want to hear from you guys what's going on. So, and what did you think of Othello? Did you buy it? Did you like it?
Did you watch the new Power Rangers movie? Did you like that?
We'll talk about that one next week.